Hello, everyone. We're almost through with our series of 12 quick gifts, and this gift is a rope bowl. You can use this same technique to make coasters, hot plates. I've seen someone do a big dog bed. You use the same kind of rope, you obviously just use more of it. So, what we need for this tutorial is 100% cotton clothesline. We do have some kits as well that come with like a specific project, but using this gives you more freedom of expression. You can use some cotton straps for a pop of color. You need denim needles, and then you need some heavy pins to get your bowl started. Today, I'm going to make a small dish because it does take a little bit of time. Start by finding the end of your rope. It's a little difficult to get uncoiled. You're going to make a coil. And importantly, you do need to set your machine to a wide zigzag stitch, a width of 5, and a stitch length of 3. Use a pin to secure the coil. And to start, we're going to zigzag back and forth in a T to secure the coil, and then we're going to start sewing around the base. If you wanted to make an oval basket, you would just shape your base as an oval. You can go back and forth a couple of times. You just want to make sure that it's nice and secure. Don't worry if this stitching is a little messy. No one is going to see the bottom of your basket. You're going to start coiling the rope in a circle and stitch around the coil as you go, turning and stitching. You want to make sure that it's shaped like a Q and not like a P. And I use the edge of the presser foot as the guide. It's a little tricky to get started. You might find that using a stiletto helps you push the piece through without getting your fingers in the way of the needle. So we've started to create the base, and the zigzag stitch is attaching the rows of rope together. What you're going to do is continue to coil the rope around and sew, turning as you go. It's almost like pottery. And you continue this step until you've created a base as big as you want the bottom of your bowl to be. If you were creating a coaster or a trivet, you just keep going around. I find it really useful to have my needle in the down position when I stop. That way the base doesn't shift around as I turn it. Now, before I start shaping the sides of my bowl, I'm going to demonstrate accent pieces. I've cut my fabric into 1-inch strips. You can work with any size, and a wonder clip can be helpful here. You're going to take this piece of fabric and start wrapping it around the rope. You don't need to worry about finishing the edges, and you just keep wrapping. Glue can sometimes be helpful if you find the scrap shifting, but it isn't totally necessary. And just keep wrapping. I find it fun to play with different contrasting prints. You don't really see the print, but you get an impression and that pop of color as you sew. And continue to sew and coil just like you were doing before you added the fabric. You can wrap all the rope or just sections if you want little accents of color. It's entirely up to you. There is no right or wrong answer. Now, to start making the side of the bowl, it's a very simple technique. Just take the base and you're going to hold it up like this. That will start creating the sides of the bowl. Hold it vertical and continue to sew. I'm going to wrap another piece of rope. You can also use different color thread to create another kind of color effect, but I find with the white thread on the white rope that it hides your mistakes a little bit better. Especially, if you miss sewing any pieces, you can easily go back and just sew over the rope again. Nobody is going to see it. Now, I also recommend, we're making a small bowl. If you're making a larger bowl, it does take a lot of thread. And I would recommend winding a couple of bobbins ahead of time. That way, when you run out of your bobbin, you can just pop the next one in and it's ready to go. Now, the more extreme of an angle you put the bowl at, the more extreme the slope of your sides are going to be. Like I said, it's a little bit like pottery, so play around with how you're holding the bowl to create more sloped sides. I think this is sort of nicely sized for a ring dish or wonder clips. And you can see how much rope I have left. There's tons. Now, cut what you need to finish. To finish the edge, you can just keep sewing and then use a piece of leather or a scrap of cotton or a tag to cover the raw edge. But I'm going to demonstrate my favorite way to finish. You're going to take the end and you're going to loop it back on itself to create a little loop. Don't sew your loop closed, but do make sure that your loop is attached to the bowl. Here we go. And don't forget to backstitch. And then you can use an iron with some steam to help shape the basket. And there you have it, a little rope bowl. Just put some wonder clips in there and you're good to go.
If you enjoyed this video, be sure to like, share, and subscribe. And leave us a comment. We love hearing from you.